We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Izzle on it, only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head. Tub with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of In the Studio with Rob. I am he, and he is me. And I'd like to welcome you back.
Who is you?
Me.
Rob.
Right. So, with that said, I'd like to let you all know that I'm here once again with my man, Izzle.
Here.
How you doing?
I'm on the mend, sir. I'm on the mend.
Yeah, I know you're a little under the weather, but you're Sanders. You're strong. You can hang in there.
Yeah, man.
Suck it up. That's what we do.
Duty calls. We here.
That's right. So we in the studio. You got some Lysol somewhere close by.
We don't. So good luck.
So just keep spraying. If you hear that's just me spraying and keeping his germs where they at. But I don't get sick, so it don't even matter.
So basically, when you hear this episode, pray for my dad.
So I don't get sick, so I'm good. But anyway, we're going to talk about something that people have been hitting me up about for a minute. Everybody, as we were talking, and I was trying to do this, in a sequence, so to speak, talked about friendships, relationships, and dating, and all these different things building up to marriage. So this topic, I just want to know, so you want to get married? That's going to be the name of this. So you want to get married. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about you getting married or you wanting to get married. Now, first thing I want to make sure you're clear on, what is marriage? And so marriage is a lifelong, exclusive, and God-ordained covenant between man and woman. So that's biblical, okay? That's just what we say. It's ordained. It's a covenant. And again, when you talk about a covenant, it's between, and we'll be talking about it biblically, it's talking about me and my wife and God in the center. It's a covenant. So even when I'm not feeling her or she ain't feeling me, this is bigger than just us. Once we get married, it's bigger than us. So we have to work through some things because it ain't just about us. Marriage is meant to be a loving, selfless, and intimate relationship. And I think that what we're going to key on a lot is in this conversation about is the selfless part. This ain't about you. Marriage is not about you. It's about us. The us in the married. The man and the woman, not just her, not just him getting everything or any, it's like, oh, you're supposed, no, this ain't about you. It's about us. And so I want to make sure that everyone's clear that when you start talking about being married and you have to decide that I'm willing to give of myself to and for someone else. That's a hard thing to do because most of us, as we're growing up, we're taught basically, even as much as we like to think, we're really brought up as selfish people. Get yours. Got to get yours. Got to make sure nobody don't take advantage of you. Make sure this don't happen. And even like with the girls, you teach young women to be, to be dominant, not dominant, but, you got to be able to take care of your own business. You got to be able to handle your own affairs. So it's always about what you can do or me, what I can do. We don't really teach people how to be married. And that's unfortunate, especially, and I can speak more to black culture, when you have a daughter and you're teaching her to be independent, then when she gets married, there's going to be a struggle because now she has to understand that I'm not independent anymore. Same thing with your son. If you're teaching your son how to take care of him and only him, his business, then he's not equipped to handle what it takes to be in a marriage where he now has to put the needs of his wife, not ahead of his necessarily, but in reality, I'll put it this way. For me, the needs of my wife, yes, they come before my needs. Her wants don't come before anything. They're want. I'm not putting it ahead of anything. They will fit into the marriage as we can work it out. But her needs need to be taken into effect. Same thing with my needs. My needs are important. So we got to take care of the need. My wants, yeah, we can squeeze it in there. We can work it out. But that's not something that anybody is required to meet my wants. She's not required to meet my wants.
I gotta say, you cleaned that up pretty well, because it sounded like you were about to describe the worst marriage ever.
Yeah. I mean, again, because I think that's the problem with people. They don't understand, or they don't pay attention to, if I only thought about me in a marriage, then I'm gonna do what's best for me. Meaning, if we only had sex when I wanted to, or we only paid the bills I wanted to pay, or we did with the money what I wanted to do, or we raised the kids the way I wanted to do it, our marriage is going to have some huge problems, because it ain't about me, it's about us. So we have to figure out how to do this thing together. So I got to stop thinking selfishly when I get into a marriage and think selflessly. So it's about, it ain't about me no more. It's about us. And how do we build this marriage into something that's strong, that we can be proud of, that's going to continue to grow, and also show other people, our kids and other people, the power that God has. Because ultimately, that's who really, trust me, if it was just on you, if you're in a marriage and you've been married for a long period of time and you just don't understand, but God is working in that marriage to keep you with that woman or that man. Because trust me, you wanted to walk away. Anybody, I remember my mom used to say, she used to see people, they be talking about, oh, we've been married for 80 years or 50 years, and we ain't never said a curse word of between us. We just love it. And my mom be like, they lying. Ain't no way you been with nobody and didn't have some hard times. And that is true. No matter how good the marriage looks at any moment, or what that couple shows you, they had to go through, or they will go through, or they're going through something. But just because I'm going through something and we're dealing with some issue, don't mean we throwing the marriage away. We just gonna deal with the issues and keep it moving. We always think that, if this don't work, I'll just get me somebody else. Well, then you're gonna get somebody else. I ain't gonna work with them either, because you're a quitter and you're not learning how to work on things anyway. So, do you want to be married? Why you want to get married? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Why do you want to be married? And again, I'm not knocking your reason for wanting to be married. I'm not going to tell you why you should want to be married. But you should ask yourself, not only why do I want to be married, but why do I want to be married to her? Or why do I want to be married to him? What do they bring or add to my life? How do they treat me in a way that I want to be tied to them in that way? You need to answer those questions for yourself. But I think too many times people get married and either you had a kid and you say, oh, well, we might as well get married. No, don't do that to that child. Don't put that on that child. You decide if you want to be that mother or that father. You want to be with them, not the child, because you're going to be with the child no matter what. So you have to decide why you want to marry this person. What is it? And a lot of people, well, are we getting married? You can get married and you say, well, there's financial reason. There are always financial reasons. There should be. You should look at money as far as, does it make any sense for us to get married when both of us struggling in this way and we can't, sometimes maybe it ain't. But you also can't get married just because you say, well, she rich or he rich. They're going to take care of me. If that's your only reason, you're going to be in trouble. Because if you don't bring something to the table, and I don't mean always money, but you got to bring something else to that table to that person with money, or they're going to try to control you with their money. So these are things you have to really think about when you say, I want to be married, and I want to be married to this person, and to why. I think, some of the things that I think about, when it's, to build a strong marriage. And, I've been married now for 27 years. I was married before, very young, and, it didn't work out. I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature enough. Didn't do basically anything that really maintain a marriage or anything else. But when I got married the second time, what I told myself was, I set a goal for myself. I said, I want to be married. I want to be in Jet magazine. If some of y'all too young, look it up. But in Jet magazine, they used to have these couples that have been married for 50 years. So I said, I want to be one of them 50-year married couples. So that was my goal. So in my mind, what I was doing was, no matter what she do to me or how she make me feel, she ain't going nowhere till I get in this magazine. When I get these 50 years, if she won't walk after that, feel free. But we gonna be together before I get this 50. So.
Do they don't make Jet magazines?
I think it's online. Somebody said it was online. I don't know. It might be. I don't know.
So you might be on the website.
I'm gonna still take that picture inside the last 50 years though. So I'm getting my 50-year picture. So that's my goal. So again, but you have to have something or look toward something to make you say, through the tough times, I got a goal. And then that was how I started. But then as I got closer to Christ, then I understood, well, if it's a covenant between my wife and with God, then God didn't do nothing to me. The marriage didn't even do nothing to me. She may have, or I may have done something to her, but we also in this covenant with God. So I'm gonna work through this. We're gonna figure out how to fix this problem, this issue that we're dealing with, because this covenant is bigger than just us. So I've grown in my thinking, but I still want to have my picture. I still want to be that get my Jet magazine picture. So hopefully, I got another 23 years. So I'll get my picture.
23.
So, but again, you have to have some kind of, goals. You have to set goals, and sometimes short goals. If you can't handle that, we're going to be married 50 years, set a short goal. Think about what you're going to do at your 10th year anniversary. Think about what you're going to do at your 15th. Whatever it is to help you get through those tough times, that you don't give up just because it is tough. And trust me, it's going to get hard. Every marriage gets hard. I guarantee you, if I brought my wife in the studio, she would tell you there were many times she wanted to be out of this marriage. And I know look, as great as I am, she may have wanted to be out of this marriage for whatever crazy reason she had.
Crazy reason.
But it's normal, because we don't always get along with especially with somebody that you with every single day. Y'all dealing with financial issues as you're growing. You're dealing with children issues. You're dealing with outside family and friends. All these things going on in your life. You're going to have some issues. So, of course, people are going to want to walk away.
Can't relate.
Say again?
Can't relate.
Okay. So that's great. But for those that can relate, just what I want you to know, though, if you decide you want to get married, know that there are going to be some hard times. That's all I want you to really get out of this part of it, is there will be some hard times. Don't quit. Because, again, the marriage is bigger than what she did to you or what he did to you. I'm really big on forgiveness, and I think we can forgive anything we want to. The reason why we don't forgive is because we selfish. Because we think the first thing people tell you when somebody do something to them and they don't want to forgive is, I can't believe he did this to me, or I can't believe she did this to me. What's that? That's about you. You made it all about, like you so special that nothing bad could happen to you. Like you ain't never did nothing bad to nobody else. So, again, it's hard to forgive when you're selfish. So you got to, again, anything can happen, but you can forgive anything if you want to. Most times we don't want to. A lot of times you're looking for an excuse to run. And you'll find an excuse to run out of marriage if you want it. But I'm telling you, if you hang in there, you will see the longer it goes, the easier it gets, the more fulfilling it gets. Early on, you're trying to learn this person. They're trying to learn you. The Bible talks about leave, weave, and cleave. And the weaving, I think, hurts. Because it's easy to leave. I'm going to leave and get married. Okay, cool. Now we weaving. But weaving means that we're getting twisted together. That hurt a little bit. And it's going to be uncomfortable. But when you get past that, and then you get to that cleaving part, it's like we becoming that, we're like that oneness. We seeing things in the same way. Not to say that we won't have some issues there, but we can work it out because we've been through so much and we've learned each other so well. I know what makes her feel good. I know what makes her feel bad. I know if I say this, it's gonna make her feel this way or turn the conversation in a negative way. So I know which way to stay away from that, and she knows how to stay away from the things that will make me shut down. We learn those things through the weaving stage, which is difficult. But if you hang in there, it will work out. I'm all about marriage. I think, if you find someone and you care about them, you could see that you can build something, a life with that person. Yeah, why not get married? I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's when you have a healthy marriage and when you look back, you will see more than anything, you will see the glory of God. You be like, oh my God, I can't, because it was only God that made me stay. That was it, because if it was up to me, these hands might have got laid on some people. But no, it wasn't up to me. It was bigger than me. So I want to give you a few things, just in case you're still thinking, I think I want to get married. So if you're still thinking about that, there's some things that you need to think about and build on in order to have a healthy marriage. So, open communication. You have to be able to communicate with your wife or your husband. Don't think they know what you're thinking. Talk. Have some dialogue. Listen, I talk. I close my mouth and listen. You talk. You close your mouth and listen. We have to be, see the problem. Because the problem is we try to, everybody, when we get in conversation, especially if it's a so-called argument, you want to win. But one thing we've learned is that my wife is not my enemy. So if I win, she lose, I lose. So therefore, there's no win in that. So I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to make sure we're on common ground. We get to common ground and we come to a solution that works best for our marriage. It may not work best for me. It may not work best for her, but it will work best for our marriage. So we have to be able to communicate. Stop talking over me. That was one of the things I think early on. I used to get so frustrated. I'm trying to talk, you talking, and I'm like, yo, be quiet. Let me say what I'm going to say, and then you respond. Don't jump in the middle of my conversation or in the middle of my dialogue, and you sitting there, you can't hear what I'm saying if you're cutting me off. Because you already came up with your answer, and I ain't even finished telling you what my issue was. One of the things we learned early on was, it was a struggle. My wife, she might like this, but she struggled more than I did. So we had a piece of paper, and we would write down, like as the person is talking, you basically take notes. So you don't have to stop and interrupt them. You just take notes. And then when they finish, you can respond, but you also have your notes. So it's not like you forgot anything that they said that was important to you because you took your note. So if you're able to do that, like I said, my wife struggled with that a little bit more than me. I'm quiet and taking my notes, So, but that helps you to be able to come without interrupting each other and frustrating the person that's talking to you. Because it's like, if I'm talking to you and you cutting me off, we're going to have a problem. Because now either I'm going to yell to get over your voice or I'm going to stop talking altogether. Depends on your personality. So you have to learn to communicate. Have open communication. Communicate with each other about life. Share your life with that person. Let them know who you are and what makes you tick. The things that hurt you. The things that you've been through so they can understand how they're dealing with you going forward. Mutual respect. Don't marry nobody you don't respect. If you can't respect this man or you can't respect that woman, don't marry him. And what I mean by that is you respect the things once. I know what you've been through. I know who you are. I respect you enough not to talk down to you or not to act like you. Because again, if I have to talk down to you or I make you feel small, then again, we're not going to grow as a couple. And more than likely, our marriage is not going to last because eventually everybody that's being disrespected will eventually get tired of it. So you have to have mutual respect for one another. Treat each other not the way you want to be treated, but the way they need to be treated. Next, trust. I got to be able to trust you. Don't marry somebody you don't trust. So if my wife says, "Hey, I'm going to wherever with my girlfriends for the weekend," cool. To me, that's a free weekend for me too. But I don't have to check up on her and see out of jealousy. If I want to check to make sure she arrives safe and she called me and whatnot, that's different. But I trust that whatever she's going to do is going to be respectful to us, our marriage, and to her. But if I can't trust her, then why would I marry her? I'm married to somebody I don't trust. And this is the thing, people, and we also have a blended family, so this is something you have to understand. If I trust you with my kids, why can't I trust you to go hang out with your girlfriends? And vice versa. If you got to do, you can't trust them to go out. But you going to trust them with your kids? They're more important than if they cheat on you, for that matter. So you have to have some trust for people you marry, or don't marry them. If you can't trust them, if you haven't built up that trust yet, it ain't time to get married. Maybe some things happened in the dating cycle that made you not trust them. Then wait until it's built back up. Trust will be built up again if everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. But marrying somebody and not having trust in a relationship it's hard to kind of deal with that, because every time they move, you checking up on them, you going through their phone. Look, my wife knew the password on my phone. I ain't got nothing to hide. It is what it is. I got numbers in there. Some numbers I don't even remember, there's so many, but it's like, if she sees something and she want to ask, she can ask. Cause I ain't got nothing to hide. Neither does she. I know her password. But I ain't telling you got to share passwords. That's up to you. But I'm just saying the trust level is most important. I trust you to do right by me. Commitment. And again, commitment. I'm committed to the relationship. Sometimes people look at it like, oh, well, this person did wrong, this person did wrong. No, but the relationship, the marriage didn't do anything wrong. I'm committed to that. That's what my covenant is to the marriage. So I got to be committed to making it work. I got to be committed to treating you right so that it works. You got to have some kind of commitment in your marriage, into your relationship, so that it can work. I'm committed to not letting this fail. Commitment. You got to have some commitment. Intimacy. Everybody having sex and enjoying sex before they get married. Then when you get married, all of a sudden you won't put people on the timeline. Oh, I'm tired. I'm this and that. You wasn't tired when we was dating. Now, I'm not saying that you got to have sex all the time. And again, intimacy is not even all sex. And I think what happens sometimes is, as you get older, you understand as a man that I actually enjoy being intimate with you, and we don't have sex all the time. Now, sometimes we, that intimacy of us just being close and opening up our hearts will lead to sex, but it doesn't always have to. Sometimes I just want to be close to you. And you should want to be close to me. We should be sharing some intimacy with each other on a daily basis. Even if we ain't having sex every day, intimacy is every day. That's that closeness that we're building every day. And we need to figure out how to do that, how to build that into our relationship.
And if you want to have sex every day, so be it,
Hey, if you want to have sex every day, so be it. That's on you and her. But you got to have intimacy every day. You need to have shared values. And this is, I think, one of the things that cause people to fade away from each other so quickly is that, one, again, this is why we talk about the dating and everything else, is that you need to know who you're marrying. So if the shared values, if I believe in God and you don't believe in God and we get married, that's going to be a problem. Now, not to say that you can't start believing in God or that I can stop, but it's going to be a problem. You want children, I don't. That's going to be a problem. These are things we should talk about. You want me to work, I don't want to work. That's going to be a problem. But you knew I wasn't working when we was dating. I was laying on your couch doing nothing when we was dating. Then we get married, you say, oh, you need to have a job. See, you should have never married me in the first place because you knew what I was. But we need to have some shared values. So we need to have conversations about where you are in your life, where I am in my life. And that's one of the reasons why, it's like you have to understand, okay, if you are, heading into retirement, another person just starting their life out, that's your shared value going to be a little skewed because they might want some kids and you like, I'm old, I ain't having no kids no more. So that shared value is very important. You have to be able to talk to figure out what those shared values are. And you have to have the ability to navigate life's challenges. And what I mean by that, every marriage is going to come with some issues because you are alive. And while you're alive, you're going to have some sickness. You may have some really bad, you're going to have some deaths in your family. You're going to have children that get on your nerves. That, I mean, just out there. Look, all kind of stuff is going to happen. Parents that get on your nerves. But y'all going to have to navigate that together. You have to be able to understand that the challenges of life will happen. But we don't do it alone. We have to do it together. If I try to handle all the issues that come up in life by myself and leave my wife out of the conversation, how is that going to make her feel? One, like she's not needed. And then two, she going to be like, yo, well, if you don't take my word for anything, then why am I talking to you? So it's kind of, we got to do this together. And I always say this about my wife. Very smart lady. And because she's smart, I would be a fool not to ask her opinion or ask her thoughts on things. Now, when I go to my wife and I say, hey, let's talk about X, Y, and Z, or she come to me and we talk about something, I'm listening to what she says because I know, again, she got life, lessons that she's learned and she got things that she's gone through just like I have. But, so she's going to have a different and unique perspective on it because, one, it's a female's perspective, so it's totally different from mine. But I want to know what she's thinking. I want to know what her thoughts are and what she thinks we should do. Because she is smart. Again, if you married somebody dumb that you don't want to listen to, that's on you. So that's one of the things you need to think about. Don't marry nobody stupid. And then you won't have to say, well, I don't know if I should listen to them. So make sure you marry somebody that's smart that you can then share in the life goals and lessons and all the things, challenges that's going to come up. You have to, when you're going through these life challenges, one of the biggest things is you supporting each other. Listen, like when my mom died, hardest time in my life, that's just crazy. But my wife gave me something that nobody else could give me because she was there all the time. And in the middle of the night where I'm dreaming or waking up thinking about my mom, she right there to hold me. She supporting me through that, helping build me back up. Same thing when her mother passed away. You do that for each other. When our kids get into stuff and you worried about them, we support each other through that. I'm not blaming her for what they do, and she ain't blaming me for what they do, but we know we have to support each other through it to help not only us get through it, but them as well. So you have to make sure you're through these challenges and through life changes, you support each other through that. You encourage each other to grow as well. That's not, look, if you are married, your goal is not only for your marriage to be stronger and stronger, but it's also for your wife or your husband to be stronger and stronger. I want to encourage her growth. Whatever she want to do, I'm supporting her doing that because it's going to make her a better person, which in turn makes our marriage better. And the same thing with her. When I said, oh, I'm going to do a podcast, she was like, oh, okay. What you need? So we talk about it. And so she supports it because she understands what it means to me. You have to support the growth of your wife or your husband. If they want to go back to school, y'all figure out how to make it happen. It may not be the time right now. I don't know, depending on your finance and kids and everything else, but doesn't mean it's a no. It just may mean not now. But either way, I'm still supporting you in it. I'm going to make sure we make this happen. We just have to figure out what's the right time to do it. And I talked about this before. Forgiveness. You got to be able to forgive. You can forgive anything. And people will always say, well, I'll forgive everything but whatever that but is. You can forgive anything you want to forgive. The problem is you don't want to. So you need to stop lying and say, oh, that was too much for me. No, it wasn't too much for you. You just chose not to forgive. It's a choice that you make. Forgiveness is a choice. It's not a feeling. It's a choice. It just means that what you did hurt me, and I'm not saying it didn't, but I will forgive you. Now, once I forgive you, we have to figure out how to move forward. But I'm going to forgive you, and we can work on our marriage and our relationship after the forgiveness. But if I don't ever forgive you, we can't work on the relationship, because what's going to happen is you're going to keep throwing it up in my face. And even though I'm the one that did wrong, if you keep throwing it up in my face, all of a sudden it's going to be about you now. Because I'm going to be responding to your hate toward me. So what you do is, I can forgive you. I don't like what you did. It hurt. It made us lose money. It made this happen. Whatever the case may be. It was terrible. But I can forgive it because our marriage is going to be going on long after this situation. I think what happened is people think that when something happens, it's like, oh, well, we done. Okay, let's say you get into marriage. Let's say you 30 years old. Person does something that whatever is they'll never be able to come back from this is at 33. So you get out the marriage at 34. So this person, y'all now moved on. The person is growing and developing their life. And so at 37, they remarry and start a new family. And you looking over at the side and like, oh, he wasn't all that with me, or he did. That's because you didn't allow him to grow. He made a mistake and you walked out. Or she made a mistake and you threw her away. So now somebody else is reaping the benefits of the failure that they had in your relationship that they learned from, that you wasn't willing to wait for or wasn't willing to forgive for. You got to be able to forgive people. And again, I'm not saying it's a lot of ways that you grow from it after forgiveness. You may need counseling. You may need couples counseling. You may need individual counseling. But you got to forgive people. So before you start talking about I want to be married, you have to think about all these things. And again, I'm all for marriage. I think, again, you're just sleeping around or, you're doing all these other things. Yeah, you would probably find your relationship and get into a good, healthy relationship. And you become healthy and work on building a life together. It's a beautiful thing. So I hope, if nothing else, you can ask yourself, why do I want to get married? And you can have some good answers. And you sit down and take the time to answer that. Why do I want to get married? And why do I want to marry her? Or why do I want to marry him? Will they help me grow? All these different things we talked about, the trust, the mutual respect. Are those things that person gives me? Are those things that I'm willing to give to that person? And if they are, again, you're on the right track. Now, it still gonna take some work. I always tell people, in a marriage, you need a couple that you are on the same page with, like friends that's married too, that y'all can grow with. You also need a older couple that can mentor you in your marriage, because what happens when you have that is that they can let you know the pitfall you in ain't as bad as you think it is, because they can tell you, if they're honest, and I would hope they would be if they're gonna be your mentor. They can tell you, we went through something similar, or we went through even worse, and we made it. So you can make it, but this is some tips that we've learned. So you need that older couple. And then as you grow, reach back and you grab a young couple that's just starting out after you done got 5 years in, and you see that new couple and you help them grow. And that also, again, these are things that hold you accountable not only to each other, but also to marriage. My wife and I had this, we had couples that we would talk to, and sometimes, we had these marriage fellowships, and sometimes it'd be the women in the marriage fellowship that would let her know, you wrong. You need to, I've been telling her she's wrong, she didn't hear me. But now the other women in the group telling her wrong, now she's hearing it. And we can have those conversations. And the same thing with the brothers telling me, like, yo, man, you can't do that. You can't talk to your wife like that. I'm like, nah, bro, that's wrong, man. She didn't say that. That's just what she said. And it's like, yo, that's what she was saying? I missed that. But you had somebody else to do it. So find those couples, those people that you can have into your life, pour into your life to help it grow. And make sure you keep the people out that's trying to bring it down. There's going to be a lot of them too. So with that said, we're going to end this session. And hopefully you guys got something out of it. It was fun for me anyway. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know what questions you got, and we'll talk about those things. And I'll try to answer your questions for you. And again,
coming up in our next episode.
I'm gonna answer some questions. Okay, so get your questions in, keep them coming, and like and subscribe and all that good stuff, right?
Like and subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend.
Hey, do all those things, and check us out on Instagram, Facebook, in the studio with
YouTube,
Rob.
Apple,
wherever
you get your podcast.
And listen to the whole podcast. People, stop listening to pieces of it.
Facts. Don't try to clip it up. Listen to the clip. The clips is that's like a commercial.
Yeah.
Listen to the commercial and that drag you in. Don't just listen to it and I got what I needed. No,
you ain't getting what you need. Listen to the whole thing. So listen to all of it. Check it out. All right, it's pretty cool. You're gonna get more from the whole thing than you will from just a clip. All right.
Facts.
So cool. So anyway, we appreciate you guys. Hope to hear from you soon. And until next time, this was In the Studio.
Bye.
Studio. We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob. We in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Catch a vibe. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Is alone and only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom. Gemstones on your head top. With the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Gonna let the heat rock simmer.